Welcome to another edition of Africa Sideways, and I'd like to share something very moving that I went through recently, a 10-day silent retreat out in Worcester with the Vipassana movement. They got centers all over the world. Now, why did I want to go on a 10-day silent retreat? Well, my missus went on one about 2 months ago, and when she got home, she was just glowing, less judgmental, more friendly, more understanding, more wisdom, more everything, and I thought, I've got to have some of this. Because to be honest, I was drinking too much, smoking too much, living in a cloud of oversensitivity and self-pity. Ego with a thin skin, that's not really a great combination. So, although I'd been making strides in my life, learning new techniques, I was nowhere near on the true path to enlightenment. So, with some trepidation, with much trepidation, as the time came, I needed to do a few things. Part of the course, 2 weeks before, you need to stop any mind-altering substances. Luckily, 6 weeks before that, I had already quit drinking. I was tired of taking chances, irresponsible decisions. And the next thing I needed to do was stop smoking the marijuana, which had been taking over my life for decades, making me less productive, less potential, all that sort of good stuff. So yeah, the first 2 weeks of coming off that was quite an experience. A lot of suppressed anger come up, uncontrollable anger, but managed to get through it. The family managed to get through it, and my time had come to go to the retreat. With a lot of nervousness, I drove there calmly, knowing that a lot of work would needed to be done and I'd need to knuckle down, but I was still very, very nervous. When I got there, I was pleasantly surprised. The venue is right bordering the nature reserve in the mountains, beautiful scenery, and my sort of people as well, understanding, eclectic bunch of people from all walks of life, from gypsies through to business owners and varying levels of income levels and enlightenment and hana fish paste. But anyway, the first 2 days was probably the most difficult of my life. Having not meditated much at all in my life, maybe a couple of hours in 46 years, to go into a 10-hour intensive meditation and self-reflection course was big. Waking up at 4:30 in the morning, 2 hours meditation, breakfast, another 2 hours, break, another 2 hours, lunch, 2 to 3 hours, more in the evening discourse, and another session in the evening. So I was shattered on the first day. I'd have to run up to my room to go stretch because my body was failing me. But it's not supposed to be easy. You got to walk through the fire to get the bread sometimes. So it was hell in a cell, and a lot of repressed anger and future worries came up to the surface as you start practicing the techniques more. It starts with observing your breathing. They want you to sharpen your mind first, because when I got there, the first thing I realized was my mind's all over the place. I can't focus on anything for more than a couple of seconds. New thoughts come in. It's like boo, 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 the monkey brain. So the first thing they do is just get you to gently breathe through your nostril and just focus on this area here. And you'd be surprised. Try and breathe through your nostril and focus on this area where the air hits your top lip, and focus on that for more than 2 minutes. If you can do that without any training, I'll be very, very surprised, because within 30 to 60 seconds, another thought had popped in my mind. I'm supposed to be thinking of this. So first 2 days, you realize just how flittering your mind is and how blunt it is as an object of worth to you. But the more you start working it, the more you can it sharpens up. So they want you to focus on a small area, and then you start focusing on your whole body, observing sensations, and also observing sensations when unpleasant thoughts come into your mind, like the person next to you is irritating you, they're making a sound when they're meditating or coughing. Automatically your breathing gets faster and harder, and you can see negative emotions actually coming. So you start observing the way your body reacts to external stimuli, thought patterns, constant clamoring for different ideas that your mind kind of does. And it's always been something I've been interested in, is where do thoughts come from? How do I soften the thoughts and have a quieter mind and not be jumping from tree to tree? And this is what this really does. So the first 2 days is very difficult. The third day, your body slowly starts to get used to long hours of sitting in a single position. You are able to move around in the beginning, so it's not that, if you need to, you can change posture. But as it goes on, they encourage you to, for three of the 3 hour group sits, they want you to, for that hour, to move as little as possible, ideally not as possible at all. One of the things you need to do is make peace with misery, because the knee pain and the back pain suddenly gets a lot in the last 15 minutes, and I wasn't able to get through an hour before understanding that you need to submit that there's a certain amount of misery in this world that you just need to accept reality as it is. I was always wanting reality in the way I wanted it to be, not the way it is. And this is what this course teaches you to do, is live in the now. Don't live in the past. You can't change what Johnny said to you 20 years ago when he said something that hurt your feeling, or worry about what's going to happen. You bought Bitcoin and you're worried about what the price is going to do, or whatever. You have no control over the future or the past. All you have control over is being in the present. And that's really what this course is all about. There's wonderful teachings by Goenka, who passed away in 2013, but they got this recording of the 10-day session he did in California. So you get taken through the whole process. There's a wise teacher there, there's facilitators, all the food's provided for you, and it's on a donation basis, so it's really for a pauper through to a rich person who can do it. You only pay at the end what you feel you gain from this course. So it's almost like a Patreon type thing here. If you gain nothing from the course, you can give a 50 Rand donation. If you gained a lot and you have means, you can give as much as you want. So it's not for money. It's a true non-profit organization. The one in Worcester is based on an old hotel. The men's quarters are nice. You get your own room. The women's quarters, there was only 10 guys and about 40 women. So the females in South Africa are much more into this, so they have to share a room. So it's a different experience for the men and the female. I was happy that I had my own space to just go and crash and be quiet. But, this is it's not a spa treatment. It's not that kind of retreat. It's a traditional Buddhist-style retreat from the teachings from 25 centuries plus ago from Buddha. This is not a comfort thing. It's about understanding misery, understanding elation, and just keeping an even keel through the whole process. And that's what one of the biggest takeaways. Also, an ego doesn't serve you. If you stay humble and don't have an ego, then you're less likely to get your feelings hurt, you get thrown off kilter by things changing, fluctuations. Life is always changing. Another realization is that we're really just made up of energy, because the more sensitive you get, the more you start feeling the sensations in the body. You can actually feel the energy throughout your body. So there's a lot to take in. For mainstream people, it's going to blow your mind, but you need to go there with an open mind, do a bit of research, and just be prepared. It's not a spa treatment, but the results at the end are telling. If you go and look at the reviews of Vipassana in Worcester, they get 4.9 stars out of like 139 reviews. And there's not many things on the internet that get that kind of feedback. So I'd encourage you to check it out. By the end of it, you have your good days, you have meditation sessions where it's going really well. But the main thing is, when it's going well and you're able to sense all of your body, don't get too elated, because there will be a time you'll go through it and you can't sense things and you think, or the mind's flittering, and then it starts getting you down. The main is just to keep it economous, balanced in your thought patterns. Another thing is, I have 5 precepts: thou shalt not steal, sexual misconduct, and there's a few other things. Which sort of tie in with Christianity and Muslim and Muslim faith and various other faiths. It's amazing how similar they all are. But this one is the only movement it's not even a religion, it's a movement. It's teaching you breathing techniques, observing your breathing, not heavy breathing, just your natural breathing, and observing the sensations in the body and how your thought patterns affect those particular realms, so to speak. Practical experience. Well, I came home, I'm much more calm, more wisdom, I just want to tell everybody about this thing. And much better relationship with my kids, much more wisdom, better, 100% better relationship with my missus, more productivity, more energy to work. They suggest that there's nothing you have to do this, it's all suggested. They suggest you do an hour of meditation in the morning and an hour in the evening, which I've been able to keep up. And you feel invigorated afterwards. You think 2 hours out of my day, will I have this time? But by doing that, you need less sleep, makes you more productive. So by giving 2 hours, you actually gain 4 hours. So this thing is a really, really win-win situation for everybody. Practically, I went to play golf yesterday, and I shot my best round, equaled my best round of all time. And I'm only playing like once a month, I'm not even a regular player, and I shot a 40, and the par is a 36. Just staying with my breath, observing it, staying in the moment. I used to try to overswing and do the John Daly. Now, a beautifully controlled swing, staying on my feet, keeping in balance, and I'm hitting at the same distance, but much more accurately. And then when I get over difficult putts, just keep the breathing nice and constant. Focus on that small area. This whole take 3 deep breaths when you're nervous is not actually helpful in my mind. You want to keep calm and just economize and just roll with the flow. And I got something like 5 pars in a row. And then I had one bad hole where I hit it into the trees and lost the ball. And I thought, no, just like you shouldn't get too elated. When things go badly, just breathe into it. Don't take it personally. I got a 7 on that hole. Cool, no problem. Still loving the game. And the next hole, wouldn't you know, popped it on the green, drained the putt for a birdie. So, funnily enough, ironically, I've just been saying to my missus that what separates a pro and an amateur is how they can bounce back from a bad hole, like Tiger Woods. Steely determination. He'll have a bad hole and then come back firing with a birdie. And that's what exactly manifested in my life on my way to a 40 for 9 holes, which equals my best score of all time. When I shot that, I was probably playing once a week, so it really solidified that this thing makes your mind sharper, you're more calm, you're a better person to be around, and you can spread the love to everybody. So I wish you a beautiful day, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll catch you next time on Africa Sideways. Peace. More to come on Africa Sideways. This is still a motoring channel. I've got the Ford Everest review in the can I'm busy working on. Ford Ranger Wild Track as well. Go with my butt trimmer. We're going to Lekker trip 1,000 k's on gravel into the bush with the trimmer, another fine gentleman. And the Mahindra we take to Frog Mountain in Swellendam. So keep it peeled, keep it stum, only on Africa Sideways.